guys, welcome back to the channel. It is so gorgeous out tonight. It's 91, so, but it just, man, the natural light is just so much better. I wish I had, hello? My gates aren't opening. Oh no. Why are my gates not opening? Okay, that's not good. I guess I'll go out the inn. Anyways, as I was saying, the sun is gorgeous out. It's almost golden hour. If I had my way, I would film like this every time. But the good news is my tummy is unreliable again. Why is that a good thing? Because I typically lean toward an IBS girly, okay? Irritable bowel syndrome. Then I got stopped up for the first time ever traveling back. Oh man, okay, downsides. This is not a downside video, but downsides to traveling, y'all, were my stomach got stopped up. I never struggle with that, ever. And oh my gosh, this has been horrible. And I'm super jet lagged. I woke up this morning in the middle of the night, 12:15, I think, 12:30. And I could not go back to sleep. I even listened to Bob Ross. And if I listen to Bob Ross, usually I can go back to sleep. Yes, I listen to Bob Ross paint. Do it. You will, first of all, you're going to feel better about the world. You're going to feel better about life. He calms you down. Everybody laughs at me, but I'm telling you, that is a serious plug. Listen to Bob Ross if you are feeling anxious and you need to go back to sleep. And luckily I wasn't really feeling anxious, but I was kind of like, I've never woken up that early before. And I went to bed at 10. Anyways, I'm excited. I'll do a separate thing. I am going to go on my second workout of today for 75 hard. I know why they call it 75 hard. This is very freaking difficult. This is my last tumbler full of water for the day to reach my gallon of water. I already read my 10 pages. And I've seen multiple ways to do this. There's a self-help book way, and there is, like, you can read 10 pages of any book I've heard and then read 10 pages of a self-help book. I did self-help because that's what me and my friend are doing. Shout out to Haley. Love you, girl. Okay. I have exciting news. I know, I just went to Singapore. How could I have more exciting news? I do. You guys are going to get to meet my parents. I did not think they would agree to doing a video because I have a very, very private family. Very private. They don't even like... Okay, before you guys fell off, literally, I'm parked very rude too. I'm parked very diagonal, but I don't care because nobody's around, really. So my parents, as I was saying, are very private people. They don't even like to take pictures very often. So when I asked if they would do like a Q&A with me, I figured they'd just say no. I honestly thought my dad might say he would do it and that my mom would say no. So guys, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Maybe if I have a child someday, I'll like love them this much. I can't even talk about them too long because I'm gonna just get in my feelings. And I also am doing this not as a flex or a brag, but Angel, this always comes undone and I don't like it. Angel's my car. She's my Tahoe. And I love her very, very, very much. I wanted this car since I was like 10 years old. Well, the first version, and then this was the upgraded version. Maybe this will help. I don't know. You guys just keep freaking falling. I don't know. I wiped it off. Since I live in my car because of my job, I have a towel, little towelette. I won't even go all the things I have. And I don't want to do this video and you guys think that it's a flex or It is, actually, I lied. It is a flex. But I'm not trying to make people feel bad is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to make you feel bad if your parents are not good parents. I'm not trying to make you feel bad if you do not have this relationship. But I am trying to show people the value of being good parents. If you do not have good parents, I am terribly sorry. You have my utmost sympathy, my respect, my love, my apologies on their behalf. If you have selfish, neglectful, disrespectful parents, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I always say, like, people's parents suck, but even more so, y'all's dads suck. And I'm so terribly sorry for that, because I would not be this type of woman without having both of them present and playing their roles the way they have. So I'm just announcing that. I'm so excited. It's gonna be so fun. My dad can be kind of serious sometimes, but I hope that he can get kind of comfortable, because he's just they're just both the greatest. But I always say my dad is the discipline, the logic, the consistency. I just keep thinking of things to say. I'm such a pain in the butt. But I was gonna also say my dad is not only consistency and all of those other wonderful things, but my dad believes in me, and he is not afraid to allow me to struggle some to have my results pay off. What I mean by that is my mom would never want me to be uncomfortable, would never want me to be sad or hurt or anything. And not that my dad wants that, but he deeply believes in me so deeply that he is willing to trust my judgment, even when he can't see it, even when he doesn't agree necessarily. And that is such a power move on his part. And also, he treats my mama so good, y'all. There is nothing like watching your parents treat each other. Not only treat their kids good, but treat each other so good. That is gold. That is worth more than billions of dollars. And my mom is like the magic. She just is. She is the magic. She's the decor. She gives me and my sister Easter baskets still. And we're in our 30s. It's too good. And I want to be like the same way, obviously. I taught elementary school, so that kind of thing is in my heart. And honestly, that's why I do these videos. Again, you guys, I want to have an outlet that's just a little bit more creative than I get to be at work. And this is like the perfect thing, I think, for me. For a long time, I wanted to start a podcast. And then I just feel like that takes so much to do, and you have to rely on other people. And I know I sound blah when I say this, but I cannot rely on anybody the way I can rely on me. I know I can show up for me. I know I can be on time. I can post on time. I can make things happen. And doing an individual podcast, I feel like is maybe not quite as beneficial. It's good to have guests, or it's good to have like a co-host or something, which I kind of wanted to do with my sister, but man, we can fight. If you have a sister, comment down below, or just leave a pink heart and I'll know, because sisters, we have our times. Okay, I don't have anything too major to get into today, but I do want to say a few things. I do want to say that I have my Florida video coming up. I'll have my Texas video coming up. My Texas video is so much easier to make than my Florida video. Here's why. When I lived in Florida, I was going through so many different things, such a transition period. I will always try to be diplomatic about what I share and how I share it, but I was in a really unhealthy relationship during that time, and Okay, what I do want to share though, on kind of a lighter note or a fun note, are some of my favorite quotes. This isn't super long, but you know I love to yap, and so I'm going to get into some of them and elaborate on why I like certain ones. I think most of them are pretty self-explanatory though. So, okay. I really need to go walk, but you cannot beat this. Look at this light. You cannot beat this. Is that better? It's mediocre. We'll take it. Okay. I'm just gonna share. It's a light video today, guys. I'm really off. I'm super jet lagged, so. But I'm gonna share some quotes. I'm such a quote girl. I have a whole Pinterest board dedicated to quotes. Who else is with me? Yes, I still Pinterest. And these are so good. These are so good. Leave your favorite quotes below. I will say who said them if I know. Okay, the first one is you didn't love you, so of course you hated I loved you. That's me. That's a good one. And you guys know what I mean. This can be applicable to friendships, romantic relationships. It can be applicable to parents. It can be applicable to just human beings in general, because so many people do not love themselves, and they either won't accept love, or if they get it, they will sabotage it. And man, have I been the collateral damage of that before. That is so hard. That is so hard. The next one that I wanted to share is, oh, this is like the definition of me right here. It's not that hard, and even if it is, make it happen. That's by me. I made that up. I think that's a good one. I think that's a 10 out of 10, you guys. That's a 10 out of 10 right there. The next one is from Dr. Forbes Riley. She said, I don't know if you get to live more than once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Oh, isn't that just like magic? Isn't that just magic right there? That is so true. I share it because I want other people to know that life can be this magical for you too. Like, you can create this. If it doesn't exist for you yet, you can create it. That's the best part. And for me, I'm lucky. I just get to carry it on. I already know what it looks like. I already know what it feels like. I already know the steps to take because my aunties and my mom and my grandmas, they already created that magical life for us. I know. Again, I always say, I know that God loves me because of my parents, because of the parents I have. And that is, there are other things I wish were happening in my life. I'm human, you know. There are other places I thought I would be by 32 and everything, but it is undeniable, because every time I have something that makes me feel bad or rejected or not good enough, I just go back to my parents. Okay, anyways, next one. This one is from Morgan Housel. Shout out to Morgan Housel. He is a financial advisor. He's on podcast. My dad really likes him. I love a podcast, you guys. I love a podcast. He says, you are wealthy when the money you denied is better than the money you accept. Oh, isn't that just it? That is so true. So true. I love that too, because I remember thinking when I was more broke, and mind you, I take responsibility. I didn't have to live broke. I could have lived with my parents for free anytime. I moved back in with them like 3 different times. And I could have lived more comfortably, but I wanted to go get life. I wanted to go experience things. And just like anything, it comes with a price. There's a price to pay for everything. I wanted to enjoy my 20s. I wanted to take people's advice when they said, do it now. Do it before you settle down. Do it before you have kids. Do it while you're younger, or your career is not so set that you do not have leeway. You know, I really wanted to listen to those people, because I think a lot of times younger people, they got to find out for themselves. But that was one of those lessons I wanted to listen to others who were more experienced than me on. The next one is Warren Buffett. The definition of success is when the people who you want to love you, love you. Delicious. That is such a good quote. I love that. And how beautiful that must be. And I don't picture that being high-end people or gurus or people who are millionaires. I picture it being your adult children loving you. I picture it being your grandmas and your mamas and your daddies, and just if you have a teacher you really connect with, that is success. That is just it right there. That is amazing. This next one's mine. I said this clearly when I was in this state, but I said, I'm in love, so I wouldn't expect you to understand. Love the me who said that, because even though things aren't the same anymore as they were at that time, and that was my favorite love. Gosh, that was my favorite. But I trust myself then for saying that. And I remember thinking, I know this is not perfect, the love I was in. It was romantic love, obviously. And I know that this isn't flawless, but I believed, and I stand by this till this day. At the time, I believed it was all worth it. And I knew that other people were going to be like, but there's this and that, and like all these different things. And it was more that he had more complicated things in his life than I do, but also I have a very simple life because I purposely chose to make it that way. I was very intentional about my life. And I remember thinking, you have to know when the juice is worth the squeeze. That is from The Girl Next Door. If you know, you know. Okay, such a good movie, so cute. And I thought the juice was worth the squeeze. And for me, it was at the time. It was. So I love that quote too. The next one is Scott Galloway. I listened to his book. It said, good partners protect you from others. Great partners protect you from yourself. Guys, doesn't that make you want to cry? Is that not exactly what a good partner does and a great partner is? I mean, and I always think that, oh man, I always think that when I was so in love, like when I was with the person who I was about that quote, I thought, man, if you understood the way I love you and the way I value you, if you felt even an eighth of that toward yourself, and you cannot make somebody love themselves. You cannot. Sometimes it works. I think there's exceptions. I think it's a possibility every now and then, but typically that's not the case. And it is so heartbreaking, especially when someone is on the verge and you could see that they were almost there, and then they just have to sabotage it, or they have to believe all those ugly things we say to ourselves. Okay, next one. This is unknown, and so it has to be off Pinterest, but it says, crazy is often being right too soon. Oh, I think that's so rich. That is so good. That is so good. Because I think it's kind of true in a lot of ways. Now, I'm not talking about basic crazy. Lindsay and I say there's basic crazy. That's throwing phones, trying to control people, trying to control spouses or boyfriends. I'm struggling with this today. I was saying though, basic crazy is like, when somebody's just insecure and they're trying to control people. That's not what I mean by crazy in this. And I don't think that's what the quote means either. I think what it means is that people think you're foolish, that you're taking too big of a risk, that it doesn't make sense to them, and therefore they want to act like they can predict your future too. And that's just not always the case. That's not always the case. I felt that way when I moved to Florida, when I knew I wanted to do that. People told me, you're not gonna make enough money to live there. It's too far away. You're gonna be too lonely. And some of those things were true, but I wanted to do it despite that. Gotta keep drinking this water. Okay. This is Bob Ross. This is, of course, shout out to Bob Ross. I love you. I can't afford to hate people. I don't have that kind of time. Doesn't that just say peace to you? That somebody who says something like that is at peace. They're not puffing up, as Brene Brown says. They're not shrinking down. They are just being them. Oh, that is so good. So good, you guys. This is from me. This is good too. And this is more of a generalized thing because I'll do a whole video over this too. Y'all want some fake adventures. I want a real adventure, okay? And that was part of why I decided to go to Singapore. And I traveled there alone. And I don't travel internationally alone, but I thought, just like I think of everything else, if I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out. And if I don't know how to get it, I'll figure it out. Just because something is scary or intimidating or I don't fully know how I'm gonna get there, that does not stop me from trying. Absolutely not. And that says, y'all stay home and fight with your exes. I'm going to Singapore. That was a good one. That was rich. I was saving this quote for last, and I forgot to say it at all. And that is the best one. It's by me. And it's, the feeling is the dream. It's the feeling. It's not actually the car itself. It's not actually the house. It's not actually having somebody love you. It's not actually getting the job. It is the feeling that we feel when that happens. That is the actual dream. The best. Okay, I don't know how I forgot that. Apologies. But these are just some fun quotes. Gosh, there's so many more to be had. So many more. Lisa D1 I could quote. See, I'm telling you guys, I could make an hour-long video. I thought of another one. Lisa D1. I'll link her channel down below. I love her. She does like fashion, beauty, lifestyle for like middle-aged women. I don't care. I love this woman. She gives me the best mama vibes. I love her. And I really like when she does lifestyle, like Q&As and Women's Wellness Wednesdays. Those are my favorite parts, just so you know, Lisa. Her quote is, you can have it all, just not all at once. That is wonderful. And then she also says, you have to know what to want and when to want it. For example, she talks about when she was a mom, she was not dressing as maybe high-end or expensive because her priority was her babies. Her priority was focusing on functional, comfortable footwear, that kind of thing. Now that her kids are grown and she can focus more on the little details or whatever. And I think that is such a valuable thing to focus on, is that you need to know what to want and when to want it in the phases of life. Brene Brown, Dr. Jordan Peterson, more from Scott Galloway, Oprah. Oh my gosh, I could just go on and on and on. Be nice to yourself, okay? It'll make you be nice to others. Everybody says, be nice to one another. It's like, y'all are not nice to yourselves. Be nice to yourselves. You guys are so valuable. You are so precious. And I wish you saw that. So, love always from your Midwest girl.